Okay, I'm Major Barry Chase with the New York State Police, and this is obviously Sandra Dorley, the Monroe County District Attorney. I'm going to read a prepared statement, and then I'm going to ask the District Attorney to speak after I speak, okay? And then we'll probably take questions. Yesterday at approximately 3:30 p.m., members of the New York State Police Violent Gangs and Narcotic Enforcement Team, along with uniformed troopers, stopped a vehicle in front of 5 Birchcrest in the city of Rochester relative to an ongoing narcotics investigation. Operating the vehicle was Timothy K. Granison, age 42, of 93 Woodman Park in Rochester. He was in possession of a large quantity of cocaine. He has been charged with 2 counts of criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree with intent to sell, which is a Class B felony. Due to information obtained during this ongoing narcotics investigation, members of the New York State Police executed a search warrant at his residence, 93 Woodman Park in the city of Rochester. An unregistered handgun was located inside this residence. So in addition to the drug charges, Mr. Granison has been charged with criminal possession of a firearm, Class E felony. Mr. Granison was committed to the Wayne County Jail last evening, and he was arraigned this morning in Rochester City Court and has been subsequently released to reappear June 21st. Also in the vehicle with Mr. Granison was I'll spell it for you, it's D-K-E-I-D-R-O-N. Deridron L. Dobson, age 39, of 5 Birch Crescent, apartment 3 in Rochester. Mr. Dublin has been charged with 3 counts of criminal possession of a controlled substance, 3rd with intent to sell. He was also charged with 1 count of criminal possession of a controlled substance, 4th. Due to information obtained during this ongoing narcotics investigation, members of the New York State Police executed a search warrant at his residence, 5 Birchcrest, apartment 3. There, an unregistered handgun was located inside this residence, and so in addition to his drug charges, he was also charged with criminal possession of a weapon in the 2nd degree, a Class C felony. Mr. Doblin was committed to the Monroe County Jail, and he'll be arraigned later today in Rochester City Court. The New York State Police would like to thank the Monroe County District Attorney's Office and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security Investigations for their assistance in this investigation. And again, I'll let the District Attorney speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So as many of you know, warrants were served at several locations last evening and early this morning as part of the culmination of a long-term narcotics investigation involving my office, the New York State Police, the Rochester Police Department, and GRANIT, which is the Greater Rochester Area Narcotics Interdiction Team. This was a long-term investigation stemming close to 7 months. And what I mean by long-term investigation is this was a Title III wiretap investigation that was run by my office. And before I start, I want to give special thanks to the Bureau Chief of the Special Investigations Bureau, Matt Schwartz, and along with Special Assistant Greg Clark and Senior Assistant Allison Camp, who ran this wire investigation over the past 7 months. And I thank them for all of their hard work and diligence in getting this accomplished. So again, last night and this morning, there were 7 locations hit within the city of Rochester. 93 Woodman Park, which as you know now is the home and residence of the mayor of the city of Rochester, Lovely Warren. 5 Birch Crescent, 62 Clifton Street, 230 Glenwood Avenue, 287 Frost Street, 132 Electric Avenue, 14 Elwood Drive, and 2013 Norton Street. So those were the locations hit between last night and this morning. We have made arrests, although not all arrests have been made so far. I can tell you so far who has been arrested and charged. The first one being Timothy Granison. He was arrested and charged with 2 counts of criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree, meaning possessing a weight of cocaine and possessing it with intent to sell, and criminal possession of a firearm. He was arraigned this morning. He was released on his own recognizance, as those charges are non-qualifying offenses, and the judge could not set bail. Also arrested was Dedron Dublin. He was arrested for 3 counts of criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree, 1 count of criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 4th degree, and criminal possession of a weapon in the 2nd degree. He will be arraigned at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Also arraigned this morning were Jason Siplin and Jason Siplin Jr. They were both arrested on A1 drug felonies of criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 1st degree. Jason Siplin alleged to be in possession of 1.4 kilos of cocaine, and Jason Siplin Jr. of a half a kilo of cocaine. Due to the nature of the charges, they are held no bail, no release. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for May 25th. Other individuals that were charged and arraigned in connection with this long-term investigation: Naaman Brown. He was charged with 2 counts of criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree. He's been held on bail, $10,000, $20,000. That was the bail set. Another individual by the name of Ernest Gamble was charged with criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree. Again, he was held on bail. He also had an outstanding warrant out of gun court for criminal possession of a weapon in the 2nd degree. And Latrice Jackson, criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree, and she was released on her own recognizance. So those 7 individuals are the ones that have been arrested so far, but we do anticipate that perhaps there will be additional charges coming and additional persons will be arrested. Now, again, all of the evidence seized, we're not done with our searches, but we can tell you at this point so far, we have secured over 2 kilos of powder and crack cocaine. And the street value of that is approximately $60,000. We've recovered 3 firearms. We've recovered 1 semi-automatic rifle. We still are not sure if it is illegal. It will be examined by the Monroe County Crime Lab. And we have recovered cash in over $100,000. So again, this is the result of a long-term investigation that has been stemming for 7 months. Those are the individuals that are arrested so far and the evidence seized. I anticipate that in the days to come, there'll be more evidence that we'll be able to advise you on, but that's as it stands right now. We wanted to get this information out to the public as quickly as possible. So at this point, we'll open it up to questions. Gary?
Can you say how long the wiretap's been up and going?
Yes, it's been going for 7 months.
The wiretap whole thing's been going for 7?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Sandra, is the mayor in trouble here at all? Is she part of the investigation?
You know, at this point, I'm going to say we're not done with the investigation. It's still ongoing, so I'm not going to comment any further at this time.
Was the mayor living at that house as well, or living somewhere else at this time?
It's our understanding that she was living at the address on Woodman Street, Woodman Park.
Sandra, can you sort of explain how you think this worked? Was the mayor's husband a small part of this ring, a big part? Were they all working together? How did this play out?
Well, I'll start with this because I'm sure there are going to be people out there who think that this is politically motivated. It was not. Timothy Granison was not the original target of this wire investigation. Approximately 7 months I met with members of law enforcement. We had a target. We began to go up on phones, as we do with a wiretap investigation. During the course of the investigation, Timothy Granison became apparent to us as being a player in this narcotics ring. And it was at that point that we followed the evidence, simply as that.
How big of a player is he?
Well, if you look at the amount of cocaine seized, money seized, weapons, you know, we believe this whole organization was a mid-level drug organization that was infecting the city of Rochester.
Do you have reason to believe the mayor knows any of the other defendants?
I do not know. I do know that perhaps there is a relationship with the Siplin family.
What connection do you mean between the mayor and the
Yes, but I'm not sure of the exact nature of the relationship.
Sandra, can you put this in context of drug bust, I guess, for lack of a better word, in the city? I mean, where does this rate as far as major, or something that, I mean, is this biggest you've seen in a while? Put some context in it.
Well, I think it's very significant. Again, you know, we would deem this to be mid-level suppliers. And if you think about the amount of cocaine that we were able to seize with a street value of over $60,000, that's significant. And again, that was powder and crack cocaine.
There's been some discussion that some of this money could have been funneled into the mayor's campaign, and that there could be a connection between the campaign finance charges against her. Can you comment on any of that?
I'm not going to comment on that at this point.
Sandra, if an unregistered gun was found in somebody's house, is there a reason why some people living in that house are not charged?
As I said, I listed for you the people that are charged so far. I anticipate that there will be, you know, additional people and additional charges coming out of this investigation. That's all I'm going to say at this point.
Have you talked to the mayor at all since yesterday afternoon?
I believe the New York State Police are attempting to reach out to her through her lawyer to speak with her.
That's correct.
Major, can you talk about that? Your investigators are trying to communicate with the mayor right now?
We have reached out to her attorney, and we're waiting to get a word back, but we do want to interview her regarding the criminal investigation, correct?
What would you ask her?
I'm not going to get into specifics. Obviously, it's an ongoing investigation, and you know, we have certain questions that we're going to ask, and if anything comes out of that, we'll definitely pass it along if there's going to be any criminal.
I'm sorry. I just wanted you to clarify the weapon that was found. Was it a semi-automatic?
So in total, I said we found 3 firearms and 1 semi-automatic rifle. At this point, we don't know if it is a legal rifle, if it's SAFE Act compliant. We need to have it further examined by the Monroe County Crime Lab.
Okay.
I guess following up on what Berkeley was asking, if you find the weapon in the house and you have multiple residents in the house, how do you link the unregistered weapon to one versus the other? Does that make sense?
It absolutely does make sense, Gary, and that's why this investigation is still pending.
What is the number of addresses that you had? 287 Frost Avenue, was that one of them?
Yes.
So, it's my understanding that that's where Granison was living during the late 90s when he was connected with the armed robbery. Do you know if there's any connection between him and that property right now?
I don't know.
I can comment on that. That's the residence of his brother, Kevin Granison.
Major, while you're up there, could you rewind a bit to, you said your officers pulled him over during a traffic stop and that started all of this?
That is not
also part of a bigger.
No, he was stopped yesterday because of the ongoing narcotics investigation.
In the course of doing what?
In the course of, we wanted to stop him because we believe he was in possession of illegal substances.
So was it a warrant for the car also?
Correct.
Do you believe he's been involved with it this full 7 months?
That I'm not going to comment on. I don't have that information either.
And this started 7 months ago from tips that law enforcement received about drug activity, correct? Did I hear that correctly?
So 7 months ago, based upon information that we've had in the law enforcement community, we decided to go up or commence a wiretap investigation, a Title III investigation against certain targets. Again, during the course of that, and Timothy Granison was not one of those targets. And this was originally an investigation that was led by the Rochester Police Department in Granite. During the course of that wiretap investigation, the evidence led us to Timothy Granison. At that point, in order to preserve the integrity of the wire, I asked that the New York State Police come in and run that end of the wiretap investigation and take it separate and apart from the Rochester Police Department for obvious reasons.
I'm assuming you did that for no conflict of interest.
Correct.
And then the other thing is that you said that Mayor Warren still lives at that residence. Did she ever leave at some point?
I don't know. As far as I know, that is her legal residence, and that's where she lives.
Sandra, with the wire tap, is that a correct phrase? Okay, so
Sure.
With the wire tap, is the mayor recorded on the wire tap?
I can't get into that right now.
You could say, you could say no.
I'm not going to comment on it, Berkeley.
Can you clarify what his past record is, Garrison?
I can't comment on that either. It's sealed.
When you found out that Granison was involved in the relationship, how exactly, you may just touch on it, how exactly did that change the investigation, and how long in was that when you found that out?
I believe it was about 3 months ago, and once we learned that he was becoming a potential target, I determined, along with my staff, that in order to preserve the integrity of the investigation, that we bring in the New York State Police.
You said there could be more people charged. Do you expect it to be a lot bigger than what it is now, or?
There's still, I mean, we still haven't searched locations in cars, so, and it's still ongoing. It could be bigger. But as I say to you, over 2 kilos of crack and powder cocaine, that's significant, especially for this community. And 3 firearms and a rifle.
You mentioned he was booked in Wayne County. Was he transferred to Monroe County, or how did
We
that?
meant to say Monroe County.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Sandra, was the mayor home at the time of the search warrant executed?
I don't believe she was.
Major Wood, can you answer that question?
I'm sorry, Berkeley, what was that?
Was the mayor home at the time that her house was searched?
She was not.
Was there a daughter there?
Her daughter was, yes.
Major, I think we need to be crystal clear because we're dealing with the mayor of the city, and people watching. So she's not been charged, but your investigators are trying to talk to her, and you've been unable to do that so far.
We have reached out for her attorney this morning. We're waiting to hear back.
Have you heard back from her attorney?
Since I've come down here, our investigators have not heard back, so I don't know about now.
Can you say where the guns were, which residence, or where the guns were found or confiscated from? Which guns where?
Sure.
One of the firearms was found at the mayor's residence. There was 1 firearm at Birch Crescent, and the 3rd firearm was at Electric Avenue. The semi-automatic rifle was also found in the mayor's residence.
Whereabouts in the residence?
I can't comment on that at this time.
So there were 2 weapons at the mayor's,
There was 1 handgun and 1 rifle.
both unregistered?
Well, the handgun was unregistered, yes. The rifle has issues separate from that.
So there was a handgun at the mayor's and a semi-automatic rifle.
Correct.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Were they loaded?
So there was a loaded magazine that was also found in the same bedroom as the handgun. Or the same room as the handgun, I should say.
So according to the law, the firearm was loaded.
So there's no charges right now related to the semi-automatic, right? Or am I wrong?
That's correct. We need to have it examined by the lab first.
But it's altered, so under the SAFE Act, it would have to be registered, certain parts of it?
It's got to be SAFE Act compliant, and we need to have it examined to be absolutely sure as to its legality.
So who was home at the time then? Was it just the daughter? Who else was there?
It's our understanding it was just the daughter.
It was just the daughter was home.
She was home with a loaded semi-automatic weapon?
She was home, yes.
So it seems like it would be obvious charges there for that alone, right? It wasn't locked up in the safe?
At this point, we're not going to comment on where the weapon was located within the house.
But with all the other charges, usually there's endangerment of a child, welfare of a
Right.
child.
And as I said, we're not done charging yet. We're not done with this investigation. There are still vehicles to be searched, locations to be searched. So this is just the beginning. But in order to alert the community as to what is going on, I know it got a lot of publicity yesterday when the New York State Police were on Woodman Park. We wanted to get this before the community as soon as possible for transparency. So.
What's Kevin Granison's, what's his involvement in this investigation?
Yeah, at this point, I'm not going to comment on that.
Sonia, can you please clarify then how the daughter was by herself when the warrant was executed? What can you say about how all that transpired if just she was in the house?
And then she made a phone call and someone came to get her, so she was removed and and brought to.
Did they know she was home alone? I mean, the police who
We found that out during our investigation, that she was home alone. And we took immediate action.
So what happens when you find out a child is home alone? I mean, do you still kick in doors or?
Well, in this incident, we went there when we found out she was at the residence alone. We made sure that she was aware that, what we did was we took her father back to the residence, and we let him call her out so we could explain things to her. And then I contacted someone, and a family member showed up and removed her from the residence. So she was safe. We did not kick in any doors.
Can you specify where the drugs were found and seized?
At this point, we're not going to get into the specifics of it. I just wanted to give you an overview at this point.
Just to clarify, are you saying that the mayor is not involved at all?
I'm not saying that. I'm not commenting at this point.
One very minor question, one bigger question. One, are the Stiplins father-son? Looks like they are.
Yes.
Stiplins father-son. And two, separate from the issue with the semi-automatic from state-back compliance, do you know if it complies with the city statute that's been around for X number of years now, since the 90s? As far as ownership?
And you know what? We haven't looked into that yet. Again, this is just a preliminary overview of everything, but that is something that we are considering.
Just to clarify a previous thing, how many total people have been arrested in the course of this investigation?
So far, I believe I mentioned 7. 7.
Did
Yeah.
you say there was a lot of family relationships in the people that were arrested, like cousins and whatnot?
I believe so. I'm not sure if it's blood or if they refer to each other as cousins, but that's our understanding, that there is some familial relationship.
Thank you. Thank you. Listen, that's about it, okay?
Thank you.
We're gonna go right out. Just keep going. Keep going. Go ahead.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
I'll get it. Thank you. We'll be putting some more information out. Thank you.